The Rap Roundtable.
Yes, sir. The Rap Roundtable is back on deck. We just recently dropped episode 64. Shout out to Poison. And as always, for some reason, when we drop, then the news wants to break. Billboard magazine puts out their top 50 list. More specifically, they put out the top 10, the final leg of their top 50 list. On 64, we're kind of laughing about what we saw from 11 through 20 or something to that degree. Then the top 10 drops. It's like, oh, y'all want to cut ass? Wow, here's another 10. You know what I mean? And within that 10, somehow or the other, Jay-Z number one on that top 10 list. And as usual, the internet breaks for better or worse when Jay-Z is at the top of any list, when he makes any kind of news. And, you know, the Rap Roundtable has to talk about it. It's your boy Jav here, alongside the homie Mace. Sid, get well soon. Deanie's closing at work. So you get the two of us tonight, you know what I mean? So Mace, you saw it. Get the people that, if you have the list, let me know if I need to give it to you, or like the top 10 and your thoughts on the top 10 before we get to the top of the top 10.
Copy that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have the top 10 memorized. Like that shit is like embedded in my mind. So I don't even need to refer to the game tape for this one, y'all. But the overall top 10 list, just like you say, 64, we got into like what we thought about, you know, who was presenting the list. We spoke about where we kind of thought they were coming from with the list. And I feel like the top 10 is just an extension of that. You know what I mean? I know, listen, man, we the Rap Roundtable. We hip hop purists. We love this shit. This has been the soundtrack to us through our youth, to our grown man ages. You know what I mean? We love this culture, man. So we understand, you know, when your favorite nice dude is missing, or when a commercial MC is vaulted over a lyricist. But to be frank, I wasn't upset about the list. I mean, I feel like I don't get as riled up as a lot of these folks do. Like, you know, maybe, you know, that list with Jadakiss was number 2 got me a little heated, but but the way I looked at it, Job, like, these are the 10 most famous rappers, the biggest rappers that ever existed. Billboard vibe charts. It's a pop chart, if you will. So when I saw the names, I said to myself, yo, Pac made it, Pac 4, you know what I mean? Wayne made it. Wayne, I believe, was 7. You know what I mean? So my 2 favorites made the top 10. I wasn't upset, you know? Not everybody thinks my GOAT is the GOAT. So as long as he was acknowledged and he wasn't somewhere wild, like 27 or some dumb shit, I ain't really had no issue with the list. Like, overall, I felt like I understood the method to the madness. Let me say it like that.
Okay.
How was you feeling about that, joint?
I mean, I like this politically correct, or let me not say politically correct. I like how much of a politician you're being right now. You're trying to appease everyone. You're trying to avoid of course, you're trying to avoid all the pitfalls. But yes, at the State of the Union, currently, there was some booze a couple of nights ago, and there's some booze right now, because this top 10 list is ass. I'm going to say
this
list is ass. You know what? Based on Vibe and Billboard magazine, Young Money had the greatest trio of all time. Because within the top 10, you got Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj. That means they are the greatest label of all time. They got the greatest 3. They're not even, what is it? The big 3 of Larry Bird, Cap, and Kevin McHale. They're the 3 of they're Rap Boston 3.
I'm telling you, like Wu-Tang who? We got YMCA and B in the house. You know
I don't even see a Wu member here. What's going on? Eminem above Notorious B.I.G.? What?
M above
Snoop
Big.
Dogg, top 10? I love Uncle Snoop, but top 10?
That Snoop inclusion, I think, was probably like the most egregious for me. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm a Barbie, but Nicki Minaj is top 10?
Female empowerment. We love it. We love it, man. What
to me, Lil Wayne and Drake got to fight over that top 10 spot. They both can't get that. Everybody can't get in that top 10. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Sin is not here.
Right.
But Kendrick Lamar above Esco? What is going on?
Lamar above Esco.
The Nasarians are going to say the fix is in again.
These media publications don't know what they talk about. They hating on Nas because the third greatest rapper ever is too low. You understand?
Right.
Man, Jav, you bring up some really good points, man. You bring up some really good points, right? Okay, so the Snoop inclusion was weird for me, considering, you know, Snoop peaked right at the beginning of his career, and I can't even really name you post No Limit era. It's hard for me to name a Snoop album. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Nicki Minaj, you know, and I don't want to disrespect women, but you know, the affirmative action part of the list. You know what I mean? So the representation portion of the list.
Are you channeling your inner Dini right now?
Man, I'm gonna use a little bit better language when I do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna balance out the language. You know what I mean?
We're not gonna get canceled messing with you. I know that.
No esque in this sentence. All right, man. But
shout out to Poison.
Like, shouts to Poison, man. But yeah, like I feel like, listen, Drake and Wayne. Drake is gonna be, you know, maybe the biggest, you know, upset, because, you know, Snoop still is Chronic and Doggy Style. Nicki still has never been caught with somebody pinning her rhymes. Right. Drake is gonna be the big, like, what the fuck are they doing? But the thing is, like, they set the stage for this. Kanye was 11. Dr. Dre was in the list, somewhere above, you know, all of the people that didn't make it that you think should have made it. You know what I mean? So they kind of, you know, they were rolling out the stage. It's not like this top 10 list deviates from what they've been showing us thus far. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not my top 10 list. It's not, you know, I know it ain't your top 10 list. I know damn well it ain't Sid's top 10 list, but it's like, it's the 10 most famous dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, Eminem ain't touching top 10 for me. You know what I mean? But in an objective, you know, rap list, he makes enough. It's like almost an average out type of list. You know what I mean? The really smart guys and the really dumb guys made a list, and this is how it averaged out. You know, at the end of the day, the top 5 minus Eminem was pretty valid for me. You know what I mean? I switch out M for Big at 6 and 7, and that top 5 I'm completely fine with.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm kind of in lockstep with you. We're not gonna get into the order just yet, but to me, it's a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Honestly, it might even be a flagrant 2 objectionable offense to have Eminem above Notorious B.I.G. Oh, I'm gonna double down with that and say that Kendrick Lamar is not above Nas. Like, the top 4 is Hove, Nas, Big, and Pop. And whatever order you as a fan decide to put that order in, it's completely up to you. To me, 1 through 4 is locked in. Everything after 4 we could argue about ad nauseum. You know, we can argue about it until we're in senior citizen homes arguing about it over some chess or checkers, whatever your vice. You know what I mean? I just, like, for the life of me, like, I can't understand what the criteria is. I haven't seen anybody post. Is it just sales and impact with a little bit of great albums mixed in? Like, what is the deciding factor in what this top 50 as a whole is based on? Because Rose was 50. You know what I mean? Right. I love me some Rose, but I don't know if Rose's top 50 all time.
Top 50 MC.
I don't know. And that's not a shot. Again, I started this with saying I love Rose, but there's a lot of rappers. Top 50? Rose's I don't think Fabulous made the 50, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
Did Prodigy make the list?
I don't think P made the list.
Did Cameron make the list?
Nah. And it's like,
a lot of my faves didn't make it.
You telling me Rose's above Loso? I mean, I would say Rose has the better discography, but if you're talking about sales and things of that nature, Fabulous beats him.
Fabulous hits, lyricism. I don't think that Rose could make an album and go ball for ball with Jada. I know I took a shot at him early, but we love you over here, Jada. We talked about my fault, bro. We talked about Big Boy on 64. Not Big, Big Boy and 3 Stacks. You telling me that 3 Stacks is worthy of being top 20, but Big Boy is nowhere in the hemisphere? When he hung with him on every record that they ever did together, right? And nobody made it solo.
Again, one verse changed his entire argument about his career. All of a sudden, he was a GOAT after that International Players Anthem, whatever the name of the song is. One day, I keep repeating it. I put on Hot 97's morning show one day, and they started talking about this guy is an all-timer, might even be the GOAT. And I'm like, when did this happen? And where was I? It's like I woke up in a different realm. But let's get to we're burying the lead here. We're burying the lead.
We apologize, folks.
We look at who's number one. Jay-Z. S. Carter. Hovenger number one. Right here. I have no qualms. I have no qualms with who's number one. Honestly, when Hov said I should be number one on everybody's list, I agreed. And I still agree. Have I flip-flopped like Mace and said maybe Nas could have and is for a moment? Yeah. But then, you know, I got a little outside of myself, and then I returned back to myself. I had an out-of-body experience, and I came back. I was in an ancestral plane with Black Panther and Killmonger. I was bugging. And I came back, and I realized that my answer is always going to be Hov. And it's like, just because he's not as active now as he once was, it does not take away from what he's already accumulated. I always gripe with y'all, and I say I'm putting cases on everybody about y'all constantly, year after year, trying to knock this man down the peg. And a lot of it is emotional. It's about you never thought he was the GOAT, and people saying he's the GOAT is an issue for you. All right, that's fair. But stop taking points off a person's career success. You know what I mean? Like, he did it. In real time, when we were all coming up in our late teens, early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, he did it. So why can't he have that? When people say, oh, he doesn't touch certain topics, it's like, there's so many people that felt in real time, I keep repeating this, that they related to what Jay-Z was rapping about. He spoke to us, he spoke for a lot of us. So when you say he didn't touch on certain topics, what do you mean by that? If so many people related to what he was rapping about, whatever topics he was rapping about and hit, they keep trying to make it seem like he was just rapping about parties. That's not true. You know, if you don't agree with him being number one, and the tweet, we saw the tweet that we posted today, a lot of people don't. But it seems like a lot of people don't for emotional reasons. And you're not giving me real critiques. It's just, I don't like him. He's a commercial rapper, and he's not my favorite rapper. If these are the things that you're coming with, that's not a real conversation to have. I know you might not agree with him being number one, Mace, but for Jaw, I'm not mad at it.
I expected that, Jaw. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So I'm Brandon.
And at the end of the day, man, like, you know, we love the basketball rap comparison, and it's like, in basketball, and you may not be, I'm not a LeBron guy, right?
I'm not.
I'm not even a Jordan guy, if you want me to keep it a buck. But if there's about 4 actual GOAT candidates in basketball, those are 2 of them, right? Like, and that don't mean that Hakeem Olajuwon wasn't that nigga. It don't mean that Tim Duncan wasn't the man for 15 years. But there's a difference between all-timers, pantheon, and GOAT candidate, right? So in rap, you know what I mean? I'm a Wayne guy. I love Wayne. Wayne is not a GOAT candidate because the things that he excels in, there are people that excel at a higher level. You understand what I'm saying? So guys, like, we know there's all-time greats, you know, but listen, Scarface is not a GOAT candidate. You know what I mean? Ice Cube is not a GOAT candidate. You know what I mean? These are all-timers. You know what I mean? If there's only like 4 dudes in rap, the 4 that you named at the beginning that actually have, along with Rakim, and I believe LL, to a degree. I'm
calling a 20-second timeout, Mace. I'm calling a 20-second timeout because you just broke new ground on this podcast.
What's up?
I think you might have broke new ground in hip-hop because everything is always about GOAT and GOAT and GOAT. And we never talk about all-timers. And I think a lot of times when people want to throw certain names in a GOAT conversation, they don't realize that these guys are all-timers. You know what I mean? And I think we, as this podcast, need to start establishing that tier of rap. Starting now. There's all-timers, then there's GOAT. It's like you go to the lit club, all-timers and GOATs are in the same club.
Of course.
But the GOATs are in a separate room. And that's really what we're trying to say. They all in the same spot together. But only a handful of people get to go behind that velvet rope.
And on the very short list is Hov. You know what I mean? Like his peers acknowledge it, the fans acknowledge it, the historians of the culture acknowledge it. You know what I mean? The other GOAT candidates acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like.
But there's a lot of people who don't acknowledge it, who are like, you know, like former people in the culture who are friends with certain rappers out west, like a Tupac, who go on record and say he's not this and he's not that. And again, I respect that. Everyone is not gonna agree. And I think we need to get to that space. I keep talking about it on the show. We need to get to the space where I can like Jay-Z and I don't have to worry about Mike 100 just randomly appearing in the comments to attack me for liking Jay-Z, or that's my favorite rapper, or Marcos, or who Adrian. Not Adrian. Adrian Green is a fair guy. I can't put Adriel in that category. Nas the GOAT. A few of you others, Leah M.
Put cases on him, Jav. Go ahead, man.
Who's the other one? What's her name? L Boogie. I forget her name.
Oh, Miss LB?
Miss LB. Another one who gives me hell. Yeah. Leah May. All of y'all that give me hell for being a Jay-Z fan. You know what? Imagine if I started giving y'all hell again for being a Nas fan. Like, it's old hat. If y'all, the difference between us, me and you now, is like, I do it for fun. Y'all really believe what y'all say about Jay? I'm gonna be a Jay fan. He's a Pac fan. It's okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What we talking about here? But Mace, now I'm gonna put you in the corner before we get out.
What's the vibes, man? What's the vibes? Put me on.
You okay with Pac at 4?
Am I okay with Pac at 4? I'm okay with Pac at 4. I'm gonna keep it a buck, y'all. Wow. I'm okay with Pac at 4. I'm more upset with Biggie at 6.
That's
to be honest, than I am. Yeah, Biggie. How can you put Biggie out of the top? Wow, that's crazy. But like, nah, I wasn't upset. Like when I think of, y'all know I'm the biggest hater on the show. Y'all know I slander with the best of them. But I like to think of myself as a very objective guy at the end of the day. And we talking about Jay-Z, like, however you feel about his particular skill set or his albums, I think one thing we can certainly say about Jay is that he's had the greatest career in hip-hop history. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we talking about a guy, A-plus lyricist, classic albums, and, you know, the greatest career that we've ever seen in this genre. You know what I mean? So how can I be mad that Jay-Z is above Pac? You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't fuck around and put Eminem over him, and fuck around and put Drake over him. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
that's an object.
Even Kendrick.
Yeah.
Even Kendrick. Like, and we get to the Kendrick conversation. I'm glad Deanie ain't here, because Deanie's still mad at this nigga for not dropping, man.
Don't worry. we saving part of this conversation for when the homies get back. We don't want to eat all the food off the plate, you know?
Right. We can't. We try, but we can't, man. But, you know, these are all-time great, like, GOAT candidates, like you said, not all-timers. These are the 3 people above him. I'm not mad at Kendrick. Has never dropped, I mean, he dropped a mid-album, but not a bad album. You know what I'm saying? Along with multiple classics, with multiple sounds. You know what I mean? And then we're talking about Nas, the golden child himself, the chosen one. You know what I mean? The nigga who everybody on this list, when Nas came out, they was looking at that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I could argue my Pac. You know, if we having a debate, we having an argument, then I can tell you, Pac. You know what I'm saying? 3 classics in 18 months. Died right at the peak of his powers. You know what I mean? Made you feel more than any MC made you feel. But no, that's look who's above him. You know what I mean? They didn't upset me with who's above him. Now, if I'm a Andre
you
fan,
okay with Kendrick above Pac?
You know what? I feel like I'm a bigger Kenny fan than most. No, not Sin, but you know I always give Kenny his props, bro. Kenny on my list, he would probably be in that Drake Wayne section on my list. You know what I mean? But if y'all remember, in our notorious group chat, I predicted Kendrick was gonna be 1. Yeah. Because I know about how, you know, our melanin deficient friends feel about him, you know? So it's like, hey, I ain't get mad at shit that I saw coming. You feel me?
You right. Now I know Sin sick and all, he likes the placement. I like where we're at with this conversation. I think Nas and Jay need to be interchangeable at 1 and 2. I feel like if they really wanted to go the controversial route, they should have just made it a tie, just to really piss people off. You know what?
Honestly.
And you know what? I'm gonna shoot some bail to Billboard and Vibe. Unlike other publications, I don't think they were going for the troll route. I think they really believe that this is their 50. Like this seems like they genuinely tried to make a 50 based on heavily on pop. I would say about 50% of this is popularity and impact, and the
Absolutely.
other 50% is about quality albums and sales and things of that nature. So
You know what I'm saying, Billboard's not digging in the crates and throwing a lot of Dark Man and Killer Priest on that motherfucker. You feel me? Like, let's be real.
Word. And a lot of y'all be wanting that, and it's like that's just not realistic. But in the future, I think, Mace, and I hope the homies agree, we got to do an episode strictly, and we'll do it right here on YouTube, like a YouTube exclusive, with all timers and GOATs. And really put this rap space in its proper perspective. Who are the all-timers and who are the GOATs of this shit? So that we could be, people need to be clear about who's who when they talk about these things. You know?
Yo, chat, give us a thumbs up if y'all want to hear that GOAT versus all-timer talk, because I think Jarvis on to something.
You know what I mean? There's, like, put it this way, there's Clyde Drexler, then there's Michael Jordan.
You feel me? There's Carmelo and there's LeBron. You feel me? Like,
P-Mac and then Kobe.
Hey,
we named 6 all-timers, but about 3 GOATs. You see how that works?
Right. No whack niggas. We understand that. We didn't throw out, JJ Barea or niggas. You feel me? My bad, JJ. We didn't rap round table fan. My bad, bro.
Clarence Weatherspoon or Dan Marley or one of these guys. You know what I mean?
Marginally.
Word, son. Like, and we need to do that for rap. But I think we can leave it right here. You know, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And I feel like
we do it.
This was a good conversation. I know the chat is lit up right now. I know some people are mad at me because I'm okay with Hov being number 1. But put it on wax, screen grab this, and remember it. If there's an all-time rap list, Jarv is always going to put Hov number 1. So there's no surprises going forward. Don't ask me, because Hov is 1. The end.
Jarv made this Billboard list, I think.
Nah. If I
wouldn't have been number 2.
Nah, exactly. If I made the list, it would have been Hov. I would have bailed out. I'd have put Hov and Nas as a tie just for the conversation piece.
Right.
Then I would have put Big, then Pac, and then at 5, and it would have got shaky. I don't know who
5 is the iffy.
It wouldn't have been.
An older nigga might lean Rakim. A younger nigga might lean Kendrick. There's so many people in that 5th spot.
I might even have put LL in.
That's a candidate.
LL might not be the most lyrical schmirical, but LL losing petals on his flowers as years go by. And I think we need to put him back in his proper perspective. But we're gonna leave the people right here. I'm gonna take us home on the rarest of occasions.
Yeah.
It's your boy Jarv alongside the homie Mace pulling up to cover this slightly controversial list. Episode 64 is out right now. Make sure y'all tap in. Shout out to Poison for being a dope guest. Again, we know y'all hate when we have guests, but she was a great one. And for the fellas, she was nice to look at. Shout out to Mad Max. He said it on Instagram. Yo, she kind of fire.
I see you, Max. I see you on the gram, Max.
Right?
My guy right there. I think Max from the town, too, bro.
I think he's from the Bronx. I think he's from the Bronx, bro. And also, before we leave out of here, hey, yo, Ease, coming real soon. You know what I mean? It's a rap round table. Shout out to Deanie. Shout out to Sin. Get well soon. We out of here.